So we have to get into the habit to actually try to go to, I don't know, market nearby to actually try to buy like fruit.
Like fresh fruits
Yeah,
and
fresh fruit,
veggies.
fresh vegetable.
Yeah.
Because it might be more expensive, but you've got to remember that it's more expensive for a reason. And the cheap food is cheap for a reason as well.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Self Upgrade. So today we are going to talk about something which is important to all of us, something that we need to survive, something without it we can't be. So I'm talking obviously about food. Now, we know that there's been lots of controversy, lots of information surrounding food, and it can be very, very difficult to navigate, to know what is the right food for us to consume and what is the food that we should actually leave behind in order to feel good and in order to be healthy. So today, I have a guest. My guest today is going to talk to us about his journey with food because as far as he's concerned, the last year was quite a bumpy road for him because, he put on weight because of, different things that he's going to talk to us about. And then he found his way. He found, after having looked on the internet for lots of resources, to help him get fit and get back to, to a healthier lifestyle, he came across something that actually helped him to make that happen. So today he's going to share, the foods and also some tips to help us, to help you. For instance, if you are wondering what type of food you need to eat, he's going to share, his opinion and what actually helped him to be fit today and healthy. So we're going to welcome Ben to the studio.
Hi everyone.
Hello, Ben. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. So I was just telling our audience about the fact that last year you had a few issues with your weight. And then, I remember seeing you and I was like, oh, where is my nephew? This cannot be my nephew. You put on so much weight. And then this year, I didn't see you for like a month or two. And when I saw you, you were completely transformed. So can you tell us a little bit about your journey and what happened there?
Okay, so what happened is I used to do a lot of sport before, so I was always active. And obviously, I got married, I've got kids. I was working probably like 6 days a week, doing long shifts, so it was 12-hour shift, starting from 7:30 in the morning till 8 in the evening. So I wasn't eating properly. I wasn't exercising as much, sorry. And I just let myself go down, to be honest. Like just eating a lot of food wasn't like really good food. It was mostly oven food because when you finish work and you go home, you don't really want to cook or anything like that.
Yeah, and I do think, sorry to cut you, I think that that's the trap. Most of the time we are looking for something which is easy, something which is really quick to do, something that you can, get ready in like 5 minutes.
That's what it is.
And
Like,
I think that's where that's like a trap. Once you start that and, that's the type of food that you're consuming, obviously now there are like some healthier, some healthier options in the same, range, like, in the foods that you can just warm up. But yeah, I think most of us were looking for something which is convenient, something that we can do quickly. And that's what can, lead us into that, being overweight and unhealthy, basically.
yeah, that's what
Yes.
that's what happened to me. So I went from I think it was like 85 kilogram to like 120.
Oh,
So that's quite a lot. Yes, I know. So I've been looking through like different kind of diets. So I've looked into keto diet, calorie counting, but I don't think that none of them things actually like work for me. So I started doing like more research, and I went into finding intermittent fasting, and that was quite good. I started losing weight, but I went in depth into it. So I started reading like some books, and I found one who is actually here and is
oh,
How to Eat to Live
nice.
by Elijah Muhammad from the Nation of Islam. I don't advise everyone to actually read it. I feel like you should actually kind of like understand what they're talking about in the book, because if you read it and like you don't actually understand it, you might think that is a bit extreme and that these
Yeah,
people are actually racist, but they're not.
definitely. I mean, to be honest with you, because I asked Ben, after his transformation, I asked him like, "What did you do? How come you lost all that weight and now you are fit again and you're looking great?" And he told me, he told me about the book, and he also told me about Dr. Sebi that we're going to talk about. And to be honest with you, I read How to Eat to Live by
Elijah Muhammad.
Elijah Muhammad, and I found it very, I found it difficult to read, not because it's not interesting, but it's just because of the background. The when the book was written, it was difficult. It was normal to have that type of, you know,
It wasn't a good time for the black
for
people
black
in the
people.
United
Yeah,
States.
it was during oppression, during the
Segregation.
segregation. So people basically, the fact that there was lots of racism in the society, they were also basically reflecting that, black people as well were reflecting that as well, in their way of talking, I will say.
Yes.
So you find that in the book a lot, referring to black and white. So that was a bit shocking. But when you go deep into that, when you don't stay on the surface level and you try to go deeper and see, what he's trying to convey, it's indeed a very, very interesting book.
It is, but you have to be careful as well, because when you read the book, it's not really details. So they will tell you like what to eat and what not to eat, but without actually like explaining, like giving you the reason for why you can eat this and why you cannot eat it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of religious like background into it. So they can refer to the Bible, to the Quran, or to the Torah, but it's never really like too detailed. So you have to like do your own research.
Exactly. And I think that's where Dr. Sebi comes.
Yes.
Because if you mix the way you mixed, Elijah Muhammad and Dr. Sebi, you brought the two men, the information that they and the knowledge that they came with, and you mixed it together. And I think that was the power. That's really what helped you. Because me, I found, I struggled when I found that he's just saying, okay, don't eat this type of food, but then there was nothing. But I know that with Dr. Sebi, he was explaining why you shouldn't eat, so certain types of food that we're going to talk about today. So yeah.
So Dr. Sebai actually explained that you've got like two kind of food. So you've got alkaline food and you've got acidic food.
Mm-hmm.
So everything that's alkaline is based on the pH level of the food.
Mm-hmm.
So everything that's 7 is neutral, and everything above 7
Mm-hmm.
is alkaline. So
Okay.
everything under 7 is actually acidic.
Okay.
So you've got different kind of food. So if I'm going to talk about like fruit, that's alkaline. You can have bananas, mango,
Mm-hmm.
papaya, apple, berries like strawberry, blueberries, raspberries. And if we talk about vegetable, you can have spinach, dandelion.
Dandelion.
Dandelion, sorry, is the accent.
French is here.
Yes. And a lot of different vegetables. You just have to like actually go and check them. But I feel like mixing both diet is actually good.
Yeah.
Because when you have, when I look into the work of Elijah Muhammad and the people of the Nation of Islam, they tell you that actually having one meal a day is actually really good for the body.
Okay.
Because you don't make your stomach actually like work as much to try to digest the food.
Mm-hmm.
Because today in society, they tell you that after a meal, you have to wait 30 minutes to actually digest the food.
Yeah, and also you can have snacks in between and
Yes.
all of that. Yeah.
But they tell you that it's not actually right, because your stomach's still working. So the more food you bring into your system, the more work you give into your stomach to actually like do throughout the day.
Okay.
So they tell you that you can snack, just as you said,
Mm-hmm.
but snacking in between is not actually that great unless you're eating food, but you have to like consume the right amount and the right fruit as well. Sorry.
Okay.
So I found it really interesting and I tried it.
Yeah, I mean, I find what you said there is very important. So we basically are talking about food. But you are telling me that it's not just about the food itself. You can eat, all the healthy food in the world, but you don't. If you don't follow a certain, if you eat too much of it, it's not
Yes.
good for you either.
There is a guideline.
Okay.
There's a guideline. So you have to follow like some kind of guideline. And the thing is, not every fruit or every vegetable that people are telling you today that are healthy are actually good for you.
Oh,
Because if you look at Dr. Sebi, you've got to check Dr. Sebi, sorry, you have to check like the pH level of the food. Because you can think that a carrot could be healthy because it's a vegetable.
wow. Carrots.
They're not that healthy.
Okay, you know what? That's mind blowing. I was not expecting that carrots are not healthy. So you know what? Can you give our audience like 7 foods
Okay.
that they really need to get away, like to live and to get rid of from
Okay.
their diet?
Yeah, I can do that. So most of the dairy, so I would say milk. That's not really a food, but you're still drinking it.
Yeah.
It can be cheese. It can be everything with wheat, kind of like cake, bread. Not all peas are good for you.
Cheese. Okay.
Red meat, even chicken. It's not good for you neither.
Oh, chicken.
Nah, chicken is not that good for you.
Really?
Yes.
So is it just chicken or any meat?
Not all meat. You can have it, but you can't consume too much of it, if that makes sense. So, if I refer to the book, How to Eat to Live, you can't eat catfish. So they say like any fish that's over 50 pounds. I don't know the reason, but because they don't really explain it, but that as well. So you have to actually like be really careful, sorry, what you're putting into your body.
I think regarding fish, I mean, I'm not an expert in that, but it may have something to do with mercury.
Yes.
Mercury poisoning,
Yes,
because
you're right.
the bigger the fish, I believe, and the more likely, it's contained, the mercury level is high. So maybe it's because of that.
It is, and it is the way the food is being processed as well. Because people have to remember that most of the fish that we eat in don't always just come from the sea. People are
That's
like
true.
feeding them
Yes.
like with chemicals and like a lot of different products who are actually like not good for our body.
And apparently, when they are, in those farms, fish farms, basically, apparently they even give them antibiotics, to prevent them from getting sick, etc. And that's something that we are going to eat and then, have in our bodies afterwards. So it's I feel like it's very important for us to, in our day and age, we have, the resources for us to go and actually do some research and know exactly what we put in our bodies, because it's important. Whatever you put in your body is going to, is going to reflect in your health. If it's something which is good for you, you'll be healthy, and you'll have a lot of vitality and wellness. But if you put something which is not good for you without even you knowing, it's still going to, to cause some types of problems. So it's very important for you, for us, like, to get into the habit to go on Google. I do that all the time at home. If, for instance, I buy some veggies or some legumes, because I love my legumes. You just said that, it's not all of them that are good to consume. So now I have to go and do my research and to find out actually which ones I need to continue to buy and which ones I need to stop, because my kids love their beans. I cook baked beans at least once a week. So I need to do that research. And that's something that I will also encourage you to do. Like I was saying, each time when I buy a food, I go on Google to check its benefits, actually, its health benefits. What am I going to get from this food, if I eat it? And sometimes, it's very, I see that some foods are almost empty, like in terms of nutrients and vitamins. You cook them, but they don't bring you that much. So I learn like that, from the research and from the information that I'm gathering. I know that, okay, this food I need to continue, consuming it, and this one, actually, I don't see why I will continue to waste money and my time and energy when it's not bringing me that much. So I will suggest that you also do that. Try to, get into the habit to check what you're eating and what's the health benefits of the foods that you are eating.
Yes, and people need to remember as well that when you go to the shop, like everything that you buy in that's in package, it's not healthy because you've got to remember that's been processed before
Yeah,
being put
okay.
there as well. And they tell you as well, like microwaving your food, as such as like reheating it. It's not great as well because you're actually killing like every bit of, I don't know, nutrient, everything that's good in the food for you to actually eat it.
Okay.
So we have to get into the habit to actually try to go to, I don't know, market nearby to actually try to buy like fruit.
Like fresh fruits
Yeah,
and
fresh fruit,
veggies.
fresh vegetable.
Yeah.
Because it might be more expensive, but you've got to remember that it's more expensive for a reason. And the cheap food is cheap for a reason as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that actually, we talked about with Ben. And last time we went to Brighton because we live not far from Brighton. He came here and then we went to Brighton. We bought lots. We went to the market and bought fruits and veggies, and it was really nice. And it was different from, the experience that you have from going to the supermarket. And you could tell, there was a difference. Like from the market, the food looks, more natural, than from the supermarket. So that's something that actually we're going to do now. Instead of going only to the supermarket, obviously you can't buy all your foods from the market, but whatever I can buy from the market now, I'm going to develop the habit to go to the market and get my fruits and veggies, and then buy the rest that I can get from the market to from the supermarket.
And one more thing that I wanted to add is if we go deeper into like ancient culture and things like that, people used to say that whatever like we eating, it can be animals, they are alive just as much as fruit and vegetable are alive as well.
Oh.
So if, for example, you go today and how can I phrase this? The way an animal get killed before we consume it, the animal might be stressed,
Yes.
anxious, angry, and all those feelings will actually like stay in the meat that you're gonna be eating, and us as human being, we're affected by it as well. So if someone I don't know, if you are in a fight or flight mode, you're gonna like be pumping adrenaline. If you're in love, you're gonna get oxytocin. If you're hungry, it might be serotonin. So like all those kind of like feelings and emotion like are mixed. So just to say, we have to be really careful what we're eating.
Yeah, now that you are saying that, it reminds me of when I used to live in Marseille. We used to live in Marseille, and we are from a Muslim background. So I remember it was going to be Eid,
Yes.
and we, with my sister and a few people, we went to there was a farm nearby. We went to the farm, and in that farm you could choose. Actually, you will be like, okay, I want that lamb, I want this one, and you pick your lamb and then you pay for it, and you go and kill it yourself. And I found that so difficult. So basically, I didn't know that you are not supposed to look at it in the eyes when they were doing the killing. So I was there, I was really feeling bad for that poor lamb. They picked it, and then we went outside, and while they were killing it, I looked at that lamb, and I swear I can see, I remember like it looked at me until the end. And I was like, I felt so bad. And from that time, it's become very, very difficult for me to eat lamb.
It does affect you.
It's become very difficult for me to eat lamb meat because it's looked at me and I saw some emotion, some sadness in its eyes. Anyway, that's just a parenthesis because you're talking about the emotions. We believe that animals actually don't feel anything. They're just stupid animals. But I'm convinced, after having witnessed that, I'm convinced that there must be something similar to emotions.
No, there
If it's
is.
not emotions, but something close enough to those emotions, that happens within those animals.
The thing is, there's a lot of study behind it, and people can actually like go and check it online. And we know that animals, people have dogs at home, cat, and like every animals like have different kind of feelings, just like us human being. So the way we treat them before actually having to like kill them to actually consume them is gonna affect us as well.
Yeah, so I remember as well reading about something like that regarding stress, because some people will start feeling stress, and they actually don't even know where the stress is coming from, because in their environment, there's nothing that actually triggers that stress. And apparently, it can be linked to what they eat, to the nutrition as well. If you eat, for instance, stressed animal, the way you said, you are going to end up with the hormones,
Yes.
the stress hormones that the animal actually developed, before getting killed. So once again, it's all about being careful. Obviously, it's not about just giving up everything you do and changing your complete lifestyle, but it's something that can be done gradually. You can, for instance, because you mentioned dairy
Yes.
earlier, you can for instance, reduce the dairy product that you're consuming, and then little by little just improve your lifestyle,
You can just
really.
change it. There's different like now there's different option. You can get oat milk, almond milk, soya
Yes.
milk. So you just have to look and like find what you actually like.
Exactly, exactly. And I cut you when you were sharing the list of foods that we need to
Yes.
reduce. So you mentioned dairy, you mentioned some type of peas.
Yes.
So for this, obviously, you know that there are lots of peas out there. So
So black eyed peas shouldn't be eaten.
really,
Yes, they
I
shouldn't be
love black eyed
eaten.
peas. Anyway,
Some cashew nuts. So
okay.
not everything is good for everyone.
I thought nuts were healthy.
Not all of them. Some of them are. Not all of them are healthy.
Okay, well, good to know. So we said dairy, peas, nuts.
Fish, red meat. There is some fruit, some vegetable as well in the list. So
And I remember reading How to Eat to Live,
yes,
and he mentioned that we shouldn't eat kale.
yes. But if we look at what's written in How to Eat to Live, and we look at the work of Dr. Sebi, is two different view because Dr. Sebi advised us to eat kale, but
Yeah.
in How to Eat to Live, they advised us sorry to not eat kale and instead to eat a lot more spinach.
Yeah, okay. Well, I love both. I love kale and spinach. And once again, the way I mentioned earlier, I like to go on the internet and to check, the health benefit of each food I'm eating. And kale, as you know, is a superfood. Like it contains so much nutrients, so much antioxidant as well. So here it's depend on each one of us. Like there's so much information about food. So it's about what resonates with us really. So do if anything that we are saying today resonates with you, then follow it. If it doesn't resonate with you, then just leave it behind, because like I said, we are not professionals.
No,
We are
no.
just people who actually have experience different things. And we saw, like we said, Ben went through that transformation, and it's because he made all these little changes in his lifestyle. So can we go back to that?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about the things that you feel have made the difference? you know
So I feel like being a lot more proactive. So exercising, I've fully changed my diet. Intermittent fasting, so having one meal a day. It doesn't work for everyone. If you can have two, that's okay. But I feel like one meal a day is really good. Drinking a lot of water, that help as well. And just changing your habits. So the environment where you live in, if there's a lot of stress. So for myself, I left my work because it was too many hours. Don't have time to see my family, to exercise. So it didn't
Yeah.
match with my lifestyle. And that helped. I went from 120 kilogram to being 90 today.
And you look great, to be honest.
Thank you.
Very healthy.
Thank you.
So, yeah, and Ben mentioned intermittent fasting. That's something that we will talk about in another episode, because I've been doing the intermittent fasting for years. But recently, I was pregnant and I gave birth only 4 months ago. So to come back to that lifestyle again was very, very difficult. Now I'm gradually getting to that, 1 meal a day, because that was what I was doing before. 1 meal a day. I'm getting there. Now I'm going to try and do a bit more. To go to 24 hours of fasting. But once again, it's something that has to be done gradually. And we will talk about it in another episode. We will share how we do it, because once again, there's lots of information out there. And I find that most of the time, the information that is being shared to us is overcomplicated. Like, they try to overcomplicate things that are actually very simple. So in the episode that we'll talk about, within the episode in which we'll cover intermittent fasting, we'll try to do things to tell you about how we do things, and that we do it very simply. There's no complication. So we'll share that with you in another episode.
Okay. Thanks again for having me.
Well, thank you for sharing your story, and thank you for sharing all those little tips, about having a healthier lifestyle, and, also losing weight. So, Ben, I love to share an affirmation with my audience about, whatever we talked about today.
Okay.
And today we talk about, healthy living, food, eating, the right food, and avoiding, foods that is detrimental for us. So what is the affirmation that you can share with them today?
For me, it's just loving yourself. And that starts by the look you have in the way you look, the way people are looking at you. So it's a bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't feel happy in your body, I feel like you should try to not even try. You should start making changes into your life to actually feel like yourself and be the best version of yourself.
Oh, I love it. So basically, from what you said, if you want to have just one sentence, one affirmation, it can be something like, I love myself. I eat food that nourishes and strengthens my body.
That's exactly that.
Yes. Okay, so thank you, everyone, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.